What an introduction. I was about to say, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, definitely not in the gym, but how are you both? And how is everyone in the chat?
Loving it, mate. Loving it. Good way to spend a Saturday morning watching Spurs play some football. What did you make of it overall?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, let's have a serious chat about how good this young crop of players coming through are. Archie Gray, sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, many people were thinking, okay, he's too young. He is showing that this guy is a serious talent. Now, people can throw back at me. Yes, it's been Hart. Yes, it's been QPR. And yes, it's been, sorry, I can't remember the name of this team,
Kobe.
but the
Kobe.
Kobe, sorry, the team we just played. He's played in defence. He has been one of the best players on the pitch when he's been on there. He is showing, for me, he's a starter straight away. Like instantly, Leicester, he starts. Then you look at people like my boy Alfie that's come on and done incredibly well and taken his
Yeah.
opportunity. You got Donnelly, Moore, Lancashire, Spence. And do you know what? We are playing more the Tottenham way when they come on in the second half than we do
It's
when most
true.
of the first teamers are on in the first half. So it's incredible.
Yeah, completely agree. How do we find a pathway for all of these players to reach their potential, Brian?
I'm very torn with this one because I would love Alfie to stay, and I'll speak about Alfie because he's my number one guy. Alfie Devine, I've been saying for ages, is a special talent, but I'm now kind of at the point where is he good enough to keep around the team, but is that going to be a detriment to him? And we need to get him first team minutes to really shore him up and everything. And my heart is torn. If it was my heart, I would say I'd love Alfie to stay, but I think he needs to go to a top Premiership, Championship team, or a team that's going to play him in the position Spurs want to play him.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the
It's
prime example. The place I'd love him to go, Barnaby, is Ross Barkley has just left Luton.
yeah.
Send him to a Luton under that manager.
Yeah.
I think he would thrive.
Yeah. I was saying earlier they've been interested in
Donnelly.
Jamie Donnelly as well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, listen, we all know how good he's been last year. He has come in, and he again, like I said with Archie in central defence, he's been playing left back. He's a bit more advanced today. Um, he's brilliant. But when it comes to the first teamers, just very quickly, there's two people I want to call out, or not call out, but speak about. First one, Kulusevski, who I am very critical of at times, very critical when he's out on the wing. But when he plays central, he looks like a different player.
Yeah.
He looks like a completely different player. And it's just finding how he slots in. Is he coming off the bench? Is he a Madison? If Madison's not, I don't know what we do with him. I have to say, when I see him out wide, very critical. Central, he proves me wrong and is an asset in that position.
Yeah.
And the one I don't get is why are we playing Emerson Royale? And I don't mean that in a bad way because he's bad, but if this deal is close,
Yeah.
surely you don't risk a player from getting an injury if they're about to. Those two are what I took from the first half out of the first team. As I don't know what you guys thought.
I thought exactly the same when it comes to Royale. It's very, very strange, Daigle, to be honest with you. Maybe it's a sign that the talks are breaking down and that he's staying. I don't know. But that, to me, would indicate something is going on in terms of Royale's departure. But with regards to Kulusevski, I think he did phenomenally well in the false nine. We saw him come in at the end of last season and play that position, and he's just a bit more unpredictable in that position, and he's got that physicality that he can hold the ball up really well. I think Kulu needs to stay. There was talk, of course, Napoli were interested and couple of other clubs. But I think Kulu is mustard, and if he's played in the right way, in the right system, I think he'll get goals week in, week out. But Daigle, I want to talk to you about our young talent, Mikey Moore, the 16-year-old coming on, gets a winner, misses a golden opportunity, but with his header,
handball off the line as well.
handball off the line, and then goes and gets the winner from a lovely ball floated in by Donnelly there. So, tell me, what are your thoughts?
I put a tweet out a few weeks ago and I said, listen, he is our Wayne Rooney. He is our Robbie Fowler. And some people took it the way I meant it, like the youngster, he's the one that's going to come through and do it. And other people thought I was actually comparing them to saying he's as good as them, like in their pomp. This guy is special. We've had many false dawns with there's a talent coming through. There's a player there. This guy is insanely special, and he's only going to get better. And the thing is, what I've been seeing as well, when anyone tweets about it, like Spurs fans, and they've been tweeting or social media, you've even got fans from other teams going, do you know what? The hype is real with this one. I've seen him for England, and this guy looks like Spurs have got a diamond in their midst. He just, nothing fears him. He hasn't fully developed yet. We've got to remember he's 16. He's soon to turn 17 in a couple of weeks or so. He comes on and he's just, listen, you can only come on and score or assist, get an assist in the position he plays. And he's doing it every single time he comes on. And you add to that as well, which I didn't mention as well with you guys, how incredible does Bergvall look? Now, I know it's pre-season and it's only been 3 games, but you can see something in him. And I don't know if he's in the chat. Yes, he is in the chat. A good friend and supporter of all the channels, Tony Rodriguez, who's from Sweden and has watched him regularly and has said, listen, he's done it. He's got the talent, but we're going to have to be patient. Wait till he comes up against Premier League opposition, which is, you know what, fair play. Fair play. He knows a lot better than we do. But from what we've seen, his vision, he just looks like he's got a bit of Dele Alli's arrogance as well. He puts a tackle in. He looks. We can only go by first impressions, and I have to say, the first impressions, I'm very, very excited. Very excited. I'm not going to go full blown. Oh my God, look what we've got. But from what we've seen to begin with, there is something very, very special about this guy potentially, and I can't wait to see him develop.
No, I agree, and I've been saying it. Like, there's a fearlessness about a lot of these young players that I think if I was a slightly older midfielder, I'd be a little bit nervous. And I'm thinking particularly, actually, I wanted to ask you about Rodrigo Bentancur because he's had a difficult summer, to say the least. Obviously, you know, made an ill-advised joke at the expense of East Asian people, and then also got involved in the, you know, throwing something into the crowd at the end of the Copa America and stuff. And frankly, since his injury and then getting re-injured again, I don't know if he's got enough kind of minutes in the tank and kind of points in the bank even to say to Big Ange, I should be starting ahead of Lucas Bergvall, for instance, but based on the way that Bergvall, for me, glides around the pitch, wants to be on the ball all the time, is fearless in his playing of balls between the lines, presses really high, and just seems to be a natural fit for what Ange wants his midfielders to play. There's a part of me that wonders if there was any interest in Bentancur, whether we'd be willing to take a hit on that.
This is the thing, Bobby. When is he actually scheduled to be back? Is he meant to be joining up with this tour, or is he going to be available for the Bayern? I'm not too sure when is.
Yeah, my guess would be not, because they got to the latter stages, didn't they? Of the
exactly, they got to the final. So you look at did they get to the final or semi-final? Sorry, my bad.
They lost to Colombia.
Yeah, that's right. It's a semi-final. They got knocked out. You look at Bentancur, and like you said, he has had a mixed summer, obviously doing well with the Copa America, and then obviously what has been at the tip of everyone's tongue, that whole affair you were discussing. I really listen, if Bentancur's on fire, he's a tremendous player. But like you said, he's come back from that. He came back from the Matty Cash injury, and he hasn't been able to get back. And if let's put it this way, I don't know what you two guys think. If tomorrow we're playing Leicester, Archie Gray is the first midfielder I'm picking, and that's my personal choice. And whether people want to agree with that or not, that's totally fair. But for me, honestly, I think this guy is going to do bits. I think James Maddison starts because we need that creativity. That's not to say players aren't coming in. I'm saying as we are now. Yeah. And I think it's then you've got between Sarr, Bentancur and Bissouma, and personally I'm kind of leaning towards Bentancur, but only because I know what he can do. That's the only thing. I don't know. Who would your 3 be, guys?
I'm looking at, first of all, if I was going to play Gray and Maddison, I will go with Biss, just to give you that little bit of solidity there in behind those two. But my 3 is a very tricky
Can I
one.
say the only thing I'd say about
It's a
Archie
very
Gray,
tricky
because I
one.
just had a quick look at Twitter before we started the show, and Windy COYS from the Extra Inch, Chris, was saying that completely agreed with all of us on how brilliant Archie Gray was, especially when he was playing at centre half. But he felt a little bit when he moved into that kind of 6 role that there were a few more occasions where he could have been a bit braver turning it round the corner, and he actually went back a little bit. But what I would also say, on playing devil's advocate to that, is I think pretty much that's the first time he's played in central midfield for Spurs at all. So
Correct.
he's probably just trying to get to grips with his positioning and stuff. What I'd say about Bergvall, though, is that he is... And Bergvall and Gray seem to have a nice relationship struck up already on and off the pitch. But Bergvall is just fearless in terms of the positions he takes up.
Yeah.
Like, he is fluid. He does not care. And he will do the same thing every time, which is, can I get past the player? Can I progress the ball? Can I manipulate the ball around a corner? And so Bergvall, for me, I personally think Bergvall, based on the little I've seen, it's a small sample size, but I wouldn't be afraid to play him against Leicester at all.
I mean, that's what we did with Dele Alli when he got his first goal, wasn't it? He scored his first goal against Leicester, and then the rest
That's right.
was history.
I was there, yeah, that's right.
We've literally we've got such a crop of youngsters. It's whether, and again, at the moment, we don't know what's going to come in the next few weeks, and if there will be another midfielder that comes in out of this 3 that we're meant to be signing. Who knows? It's, do you know what? It's a nice decision, or a tough decision for the manager to have, but a lovely decision for us to look at, isn't it? And question what's the dynamics, what's he going to do? I don't know, but with Mia, I'm still very, very wary of Basuma. If he's on fire, he's great, but when he's not, he offers so little for me, and I don't know what Basuma we're going to get at the start. Hopefully, we see more of him in the build-up. Listen, we've got what? Bayern Munich twice and another team from the Far East before we start. So he started giving people more than 45 minutes, didn't he? Some players started getting the extra minutes, and I think these are players that he probably has in mind for the start at Leicester. So they're getting more minutes in their game, getting their body conditions ready. And we're just going to have to wait and see. But overall, I think the youngsters, again, today outshone the first teamers. The football in the second half has looked like what we saw the first 10 games, more fluid compared to what we've seen in the first half. And let's just see what the rest of the summer brings, and let's get ready to go against Leicester.
Completely agree, Brian. Mate, thanks so much for calling in. I'll be in on Wednesday for the next friendly. Give me a call after that if you can.
What time's kick-off on that one, Barnaby?
Is it afternoon? I think it's afternoon.
So
12
yeah,
o'clock.
I'm 5 hours behind you. I think it's kicking off at 7 a.m. here, so it'll be a better time of the day for me to get up rather than 5:30. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your show and the weekend, and I will speak to you very soon.
Top
Later,
man, Brian. Thanks a lot.
Take it easy,
Later,
Daigle.
Man.